I introduce Chris from CUPRA, who will explain a little bit, let's say, the evolution of the brand and its commitment to innovation and everything they have been doing in the last 2-3 years. And, well, it's fascinating. One of the presentations I'm really looking forward to today, and thank you so much for coming. I know you're going full throttle, not to be outdone, so it's all yours.
Hello everyone, I am Cristina Gómez. You have generated a lot of expectations, so you have set the level quite high. Thank you, first of all, for inviting us, because I think it is really very, very interesting. It is a very different use case to what we have been hearing all day. In fact, it has been quite interesting, the previous talks. I feel very identified with things you have said. In addition, it is also quite interesting to meet with colleagues that in the end, we are not so many. And I come to tell you a little bit why CUPRA enters this world of Metaverse, why it decides to launch a proprietary Metaverse and not decide to enter into an existing one. Or why don't we create a collection of NFT as our colleagues at Porsche have done, or as they have launched now at Ducati. And I think that to understand why CUPRA enters in this way, or why we get into this territory a little bit unknown, it is very interesting to know where CUPRA comes from, how CUPRA arises, so that you understand the context of the brand. The story of CUPRA is very interesting because it is a story of love, madness, and passion that has come true. Basically, a niche market was discovered where we saw a gap. I, the brand strategist between the volume brands and the premium brands, where a user was looking for one high-performance car at an affordable price. Okay, we could not give this with SEAT, and we decided to create a business unit within SEAT, which was what a startup is. So we say that we got together a group of crazy people. You could say we got into the garage and decided to launch a new brand of cars that had nothing to do with anything that was on the market. It was very ambitious, it was very crazy. Even internally, we had people who didn't really believe in the project. In the end, we managed to make it happen. And there are two reasons why I think CUPRA has become a reality so quickly, because we have 7 years. One is a very passionate group of people. I am lucky that I was there from the beginning. They gave me the opportunity, and I said, a new brand of car, why not? And then there's a theme of making it tangible very fast. The first year, 2018, we launched the CUPRAteca, was our first vehicle, 9,000 units. The first year we were already in front of people's eyes, we were on the street. Then we made it happen by creating a house for the CUPRA tribe. We generated, was created the CUPRA headquarter, and in Martorell, totally different from everything that was in the factory until then. And also to reach the public in the different countries and to be able to differentiate ourselves, right? From the SEAT brand, we generated 260 dealerships in 1 year. In addition, we wanted to generate a slightly different customer experience, and we created the CUPRA Master Profile. For us, the CUPRA Master is the point of contact with our end customer and is the real bridge we have to reach the users.
This is a story of people rather than machines and numbers. The story of people who love what they do, the more experienced, and we went back to the garage to build a contemporary vision of us. Something that has less to do with lap time and more to do with enjoying the moment. Something rare, not exclusive. They are the ones who will transform the concept of racing. They will take it to the streets by joining forces with those who share their mindset on how to create electric experiences. They are the people who will create a world around performance and invite you to it. It's a world of aspiration, a place where you don't need luxury to feel unique. They will come together as one driven by the same values and ambitions. They will be recognizable because to us, level.
Visual? Too bad we don't have audio. What does CUPRA become, and what has been the basis or the values of CUPRA from the beginning? And that this is starting to be understood a little bit because we ended up launching a Metaverse. We, as a brand, want to inspire the world from Barcelona, and we have demonstrated this not only by having all the production, of course, here in Barcelona, the factory, etc. Almost all our partners are locally. It's very important for us. We are Mediterranean, we are cheerful, we are different. Also, we wanted to encourage the passion for driving at a time when people started to say that people don't want to drive anymore, that you can't bring cars into the cities anymore. We wanted to reinforce this, but in the era of electrification, this is the next pillar. Why does CUPRA decide that performance does not have to be at odds with electrification? We will also see this later in the formats we are working on. Why do we show that we want to be electric? In 2030, CUPRA expects to be fully electric. This would be the first value. Second visual issue, we are very careful about how the brand is presented, not only at the visual level of the product, because at the end of the day, we are a car brand. The most relevant thing is what our cars look like, but in everything we do, in every campaign we do, every contact, every activation, we are very careful at a visual level to how the user perceives us, and this has led us today to the perception we have as a brand. And finally, we are unconventional, we are weird, we are challenging, and we do things differently. In fact, I would say that internally in the company, we challenge each other, and we are always proposing different things, which in the end has led us to where we are today. We are based on three main pillars that, in fact, I have already been telling you a little bit about. On the one hand, we sell cars. It is the most important thing. We have a very strong product base, 5 models. Today, we expect to have 7 CUPRA models by 2024. We are receiving quite a few awards, not only at the design level, but at the performance level, even with our Born model, which was the first 100% electric. The second pillar, and it is no coincidence that it is at the center, is the customer experience, not only while the user buys a car, but in every contact he has with the brand. So I will tell you a little bit about it. We are obsessed with making people feel emotions in this world, both physical and virtual, and that is one of the reasons why we have launched METAHYPE. And finally, we communicate in a different way. From the beginning, we have wanted to reach a different audience by speaking in a different way, and we believe that these 3 pillars are what have led us to be today a different brand with a tribe around us that believes in CUPRA. We will have audio. Not that it's just visual.
If I could sing, I would sing.
Well, here I define a little bit that.
Also on a visual level.
You guys have to go back and watch the streaming. Yes, I think so. In fact, in Seat Media Center, so I was telling you a little bit, we are unconventional. We like to do things differently. We go to a different audience, and we also demonstrate this in our obsession to focus on the new generations. Here is a very interesting topic from CUPRA. From the very beginning, we have wanted to go to Generation Z. And why is that? If these little people are not going to buy a car from you today? In the end, there is a theme where we believe that CUPRA has a different positioning, and that being a new brand, we can connect with the new generations in a totally different way. Generation Z is not waiting for you to sell them something. They are waiting to connect in a different way with brands and create a relationship. We believe that this relationship that you mentioned before, the new generations are the ones who understand the metaverse without talking about technology, Web3 or blockchain, is what we believe at CUPRA. And here comes the beginning of why we launched a metaverse, because we believe it is the perfect platform to connect with this generation that today will not buy a car from us, but will surely buy a car in the future, or will enter into a sphere of the brand that may not be buying a CUPRA car much more than a brand of cars. And I'm going to show you now why at the marketing level, how we implement. And with this, I finish a little bit CUPRA context so that you understand why we get into these messes of metaverses from the car brand. On the one hand, we communicate in a totally different way. We do campaigns that are very creative, but not only that, we always look for a different point. So, for example, the campaign with Rosalia, also related to the fact that we inspire the world from Barcelona. We take Rosalia's most personal song, her intimate ABC, in which she explains who she is, how she is, and why she does things. And we make CUPRA's ABC sung by Rosalia, and we don't publish it as a normal advertisement, but we propose that people write WhatsApp to Rosalia, and you get one of the lyrics by voice, by WhatsApp. With this, we have achieved one of the biggest challenges in social media. It has been a success and a perfect example of how we communicate the brand in a different way. On the other hand, we have these new formats, which will be the focus of the presentation, but I wanted to talk about partners. For us, partners are not just a partnership, they are a matter of brand collaboration. CUPRA has positioned itself where it is today, thanks to the partners it has had, and I was talking about before. In fact, all the METAHYPE has been developed in Barcelona with local partners that, in fact, are made here. And we believe that there has to be something beyond the fact that I pay you to propose my product in a place, for example, music, creation of emotions. CUPRA firmly believes that music is one of its areas. What do? We joined Primavera Sound, who are also from Barcelona, and not only I pay you a stand at the event, but I am part of your event, and Primavera Sound is part of CUPRA, has a presence in METAHYPE as well. Now you will see it, and also we are going to Boiler Room, which is the most important project of electronic music, and we bring it to spring, and we make the triangle at the end. In CUPRA, we always try to connect the values we have with the partners we have, and we do a little bit of Love Triangle, the new format of racing, more progressive. And I mention it because they also present a very interesting project that we have launched now in April. We are electric, as we have already said, and we come from racing. We come from CUPRA, which means, or comes from Cup Racing, Formula E. Of course, it doesn't have the reach that Formula One has, but we don't want it because we are going to a different target that is looking for something a little bit different. The case of streaming is very interesting. It's a new format. I don't know if you know it, but in the end, it has a theme of ecological struggle, and it's racing in totally deforested places. And there always has to be a boy driver and a girl driver. This is also very important. CUPRA, because we have always advocated to be gender balanced and finally to fit with the tribe, to engage with the tribe. And as you will see, it is one of the marketing pillars. It's quite important for us to connect with the CUPRA tribe. So I've put you a little bit in context of why CUPRA came about, who we are and what we do, so you can understand why we came to the conclusion that launching a metaverse makes sense for us and how we connect the metaverse with other projects that we have associated with it. METAHYPE. METAHYPE is a virtual island in continuous expansion. It's basically a virtual platform that's connected to blockchain. And why did CUPRA say that at the beginning? Why haven't we gone into Nemesis like Skoda and launched a CUPRA space? Why didn't we launch an NFTs collection? Because we believe that we didn't have to use technology, and you have said that in a previous talk. We don't have to use technology just because now what's in, but we have to make a sustainable project with which we really bring the new generations. I have another video which is
something innate in a human being. When we feel that the world limits us, we imagine new worlds until now. We've looked for new emotions here on planet Earth, but our desire to feel always makes this planet smaller based on your seatbelt. Welcome to the Metaverse. A virtual universe to mingle and meet with people from all over the world. To live unique emotions and experiences. Connect the real and virtual worlds. A place where everyone can choose who they want to be, how they want to be, and what they want to do. Where we want to invite you to feel differently. That is where we are going to continue creating world's living experiences. Inspiring the next generation as we explore business possibilities that we don't even imagine now. This is only the beginning. Because this world makes us feel small, very small. The universe we are creating will be infinite.
Why does METAHYPE arise and we don't have CUPRA or CUPRA-HYPE? There is an issue that we will discuss now. For us, it is very important the sponsorships and collaborations we do with other brands, with other companies, even with users. That's why we wanted to create a neutral space with which we could get to collaborate with other brands, always maintaining this connection of values. We have not made sponsorships to use. We have always been a bit romantic and we wanted to connect. Therefore, we believe we had to generate a neutral space. Why is CUPRA launching a metaverse? And we have two main reasons that I have been naming a little along the way. On the one hand, because we believe that it is the way to generate a special contact with the new generations that we can maintain over time, and that in the future will generate a relationship of trust with them, with this new generation. And on the other hand, we have a totally new brand experience that we cannot have in any other way, even that we cannot control by going to other metaverses. So METAHYPE at a technological level will never be a meta, it will never be a special, but we believe that we can control and we can give a different service or a totally different experience than what is in other metaverses. In addition, we believe that precisely because of this connection of different brands that we can generate as CUPRA Metal, it can be a special place that generates a quite different experience. Of course, then we have other issues of how we can generate additional revenue, how we can connect businesses, etc. But basically, at the beginning, we have based ourselves on launching a platform that gives us an opening to new brands and a contact with a different audience. The people who were commenting before, what are the important points for us in Detroit that we have today or that we are working on launching in 24? On the one hand, the issue of avatars. I was telling you that we are a little bit obsessed with making people have emotions or feel emotions, and avatars of people give us this service. Also, we made the agreement with Ready Player One. This allows us to not only be in Metroid, but our avatars, the clothes that we create, can be in any other metaverse that carries METAHYPE. And we have this benefit, which is what we also look for at CUPRA in every single thing we do. Then we have communication issues, streaming, events, not only for CUPRA, but for the rest of the brands that come. We want to be a space where you can come and make a specific activation. Also, a very important pillar for us would be the issue of training. In fact, METAHYPE arose because we launched CUPRA Wine into CE 120. When we were launching the Formentor, our first car, the pandemic arrived. We had to train 260 people on the Formentor, and we had no way to approach them. Therefore, the garage arose, which was already a virtual training platform, and we say that it is the origin of what today is METAHYPE. Very important for us is the whole issue of gamification, because this gives us something cross, an umbrella throughout the platform in everything that happens within it, and we believe that it brings a different touch as well. Well, now I will comment on it. When you enter, you receive an NFT as soon as you arrive on the island that evolves as you gain experience or participate in the platform, which also allows us to collaborate with the rest of the districts that exist now or that we will have in the marketplace. A very important point. Today we are launching a marketplace now in CUPRA, and we want it to be the engine of the marketplace within METAHYPE so that any company that does not even have a district can sell through the metaverse. And here I was telling you a little bit along the way, but we think it is very important the double role that we have from CUPRA within the island. On the one hand, we are owners of the island. It gives us the power to manage what happens, to manage the data, to make a common umbrella in all this metaverse. But on the other hand, we have the CUPRA district. Today within CUPRA is 80% of the experiences that are within the island. We have 5 areas that represent different areas of CUPRA. We have products. We have why CUPRA is more than a brand with some experiences. We have the racing part where we also talk a little bit about the past, about the brand. We have the garage part that we have, a virtual dealership that is also one of the main ones. So we as CUPRA are already exploiting MetaHYPE, but we have this parallel role. Today we also have Primavera Sound within the island. It has its own district with its own corporate identity, its own experiences. What unifies it would be the whole logging system and the whole gamification part. And here I want to talk a little bit about why MetaHYPE is being so interesting for CUPRA, not only at the virtual platform level, but because it is generating new projects that would never have come up if we didn't have MetaHYPE. We have this case of the Dart Rebel. I was also telling you before about this connection of the physical world with the virtual world, with which we are a bit obsessed in CUPRA to always connect the dots. MetaHYPE arises. We are working on it, and it was going to be presented on April 21st of this year. The design team was already working on proposing a new car model, a concept that is a car that is not yet going to be produced, but it is like the brand's proposition of where we want to go at the design level. It starts the crazy idea of saying, why don't we propose it virtually? We presented on MetaHYPE, something that has never been done. Never has a brand presented a car. In a metaverse, we say yes, and then we curl the curl and say why. Also, we don't make it a collaborative process with our users and allow people who are already fans of the brand and love the Dark Rebel to participate in what will be the physical model. So on April 21, we launched the Hyper Configurator. We presented the virtual car at our Berlin event, and we give the opportunity for users to participate and with their configurations to influence the car that we have actually presented now in Munich. We have made it a reality. So connecting the physical world with virtual CUPRA wants people to feel emotions, but we don't want them to stay in the virtual world. So I bring it to the physical world, and on top of that, I create a collaborative process, which for us is one of the foundations. So we created MetaHYPE. What else has MetaHYPE brought us? You were talking about the whole virtual reality thing before. In fact, we have our partners from Universe here, which is what we have worked on several projects. We want to connect worlds. We want people to feel emotions. On April 21, which I've mentioned several times, we did a big presentation in Berlin where we launched MetaHYPE. We presented the Hyper Configurator with the Dark Rebel, and we presented the Taviscan, which was the next bet of the brand that we launched at the end of the year. And what we did on the one hand was to connect the physical world with the virtual world. I'm talking about I'm going to launch MetaHYPE, but the event physically looked like the MetaHYPE Plaza. That was the first connection we made. Second, how do I take MetaHYPE so that users going to the Berlin event can see what this metaverse is all about? Earlier, I was commenting on what this metaverse thing is and what you are doing there. We are doing a virtual reality experience that was a great success. Here, we have seen that it works, that making it tangible, as we did with CUPRA at the time, making something tangible of this rare thing that is the metaverse through virtual reality did not work very well because we were activating people in an emotional way, right? To make people feel things. So what have we done? We have taken the next step in virtual reality. On the one hand, we have generated an experience with the Dark Rebel, so I present it to you virtually. I take all your inputs and I present it to you in physical mode. In Munich, we launched a virtual reality experience where you could reconfigure the car, the Dark Rebel. Then we connected all the dots again so that people still feel emotions through the physical and the virtual world. This was an individual experience. We have another collaborative experience that we have continued to develop quite a bit since Berlin. We have presented it in Barcelona. Now we have presented it in Munich, and we are already working on other projects to bring MetaHYPE to the real world, and we also focused on CUPRA. So in addition, we also did an activation with Primavera Sound. For example, at the festival itself, there was an activation where you could DJ through virtual reality. At the event itself, we connected the dots. How we continue to connect the dots and will be the next steps. We have 1,200 dealerships around the world where we can make the MetaHYPE world tangible again. And we have another project that also comes from this physical virtual madness and racing. I was telling you before that in CUPRA we believe in new formats of racing, totally different. That's why we are going to formulate, we are going to stream, and we are betting, of course, on Metaverse and virtual reality. In April, at this big event in Berlin, we also presented the exponential experience. Basically, the experience is a real racing car, the Urban Rebel, which is real drivable in a limited space, of course. And the car is also limited, fully mapped at the sensor level, which you can drive with virtual reality goggles. When you sit in the car, you put on the goggles. First, we have augmented reality, so the user, I see the car. You go with a professional driver next to you, of course, and when the car goes over a speed or over the limit, it stops. So it is quite safe, and I put on the glasses. I see the reality I'm looking at, and I see a portal behind the portal. I see that a totally virtual world begins. I can enter moving the real car, which at first is a bit strange because you are with the glasses on, and once I enter that portal, I find myself in a totally virtual circuit. I'm going to play you a video and show you a little bit of what we want to do with this. Again, no sound.
The electric car.
And here then,
we return to unify the whole theme of racing, which is our heritage, with the virtual world, with the electric car, and with this mixed reality in which we believe from CUPRA. And I ask you a question: what would happen if we managed to have a virtual race in which we have a physical person in Barcelona, the other person in Australia, and they race on the same circuit in real time? I have one last video that I'm not going to play because the audio is very important, so I'll wait for you all at the finish line. Thank you very much.